my channel. This video is the final installment in my Adventures in Peru series, and it's basically just going to be me talking about my reflections on the trip, what I thought about it, some things that didn't get recorded in while I was vlogging while I was there. So that's pretty much the gist of this video. So I guess we will go ahead and get started. First things first, where in the heck in Peru did I go? We spent majority of our time in Cusco, but we also, when we flew to Peru, we flew into Lima, which is the capital city. It's like the big hub. And then when we were, our very last day we spent in Lima, of course, because that's where the airport was. But most of our trip was spent in Cusco, which is a really, really lovely city. When we got there, it was summertime, or not was, it still is summertime there right now. But I left for this trip in December, so it was winter time up here, but since we went south of the equator, the seasons are opposite, so it was summertime. And it also happened to be the rainy season up in the mountains, so the first few days it didn't really rain too much, but when it did start raining, it really started raining. Like, it would come down and be like super crazy. But it typically rained more at night than it did during the day, and the only time it really caused like a big problem was like the first night when it rained really, really bad, and on the work site it was a lot of mud, so everything was just really muddy and gross everywhere, and it was really hard to try and get around. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. I guess the next thing to get into would be, how was the travel? My trip to Peru was my first international flight, so my first big thing, got my first stamp in my passport. That's super exciting. But as far as the travel, it wasn't too bad. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think the flight was like 8 hours and like 45 minutes or something like that, or like 9 hours, something like that. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but it wasn't too bad because it was kind of split into two legs. So on my way there, I flew out of Chicago into Miami, and then I had another flight that went from Miami to Peru. And you know, I mean, what else do you do on flights? Like, I mostly slept because my flight was like in the evening. So for the let me start over. My whole flight wasn't in the evening. When I left from Chicago, it was like 11 in the morning-ish. So that part was like during the day. I think I like read on the plane, like watched a movie or something. And then the flight from Miami to Lima actually ended up getting delayed. So I ended up not leaving there and leaving Miami until like 7 o'clock, I think. So that point, it was like getting ready to be bedtime. So I think I might have read a little bit, and then I slept majority of the way to Lima. So it wasn't really bad. I wasn't really cognizant of how long the flight actually was because I was sleeping. But other than that, the travel wasn't too crazy. The first day we didn't really get into too much because it was a long travel day. Like, I was so tired. When we finally did get to the hotel, I think it was like 2 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning, I think. And we essentially had enough time to like take a nap in the hotel because our flight from Lima to Cusco, I think, was we had to be up and like on the bus, I think at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So we really just took like a little cat nap, and then we were back to the airport, and then back on another plane getting ready to travel again. So that first day was really just all traveling, and it was really taxing. It was super tiring, but I got over it. It was all good. And then it wasn't too bad because the time change wasn't super crazy. I go to school in DC, so my body was already used to Eastern Standard Time, and I was only in Chicago for like 2 days, I think, before I left. So I hadn't really gotten a chance to adjust to Central Standard Time, and Peru is Eastern Standard Time, so I didn't really experience any jet lag or anything crazy like that. Okay, so the next thing was getting adjusted to the high altitudes. We were in the mountains, of course, and that was something completely different for us because we're relatively close to sea level. So that was like trying to get my body adjusted to that. Everything made me out of breath. Like talking, walking up the stairs, just walking period, like everything made me out of breath, and it made me feel like I was so out of shape. But after a while I started to get used to it. They had this really great tea made from coca leaves, and it was bomb. It also helped with the altitude sickness, and it just gave you a little energy boost. Like, that tea was so good, and I am still just ever so slightly hurt that I could not bring some of that tea back with me. I think we could have brought like tea bags and stuff, but I wanted to bring, like, because I don't know, I just like steeping like just tea leaves like freely. And of course you can't bring coca leaves back to the US because that is a recipe to get sent to jail, because you know people like to make other things with coca leaves. So didn't nobody have time for that. So I didn't bring any tea back with me, but that tea, oh my gosh, it was so good. Okay, so once we got there, the trip was not pretty much, but it was a service learning trip. And I went on this trip through Golden Key International, which is an honor society that I'm a part of, and it was booked through EF College Tours, just like, I think it's Education First College Tours or something like that. But anyway, it was a service learning trip, and the organization that we had our service project through was Peru's Challenge, and I will put a link to that website in the description box, and I will also be somewhere in this video. So you guys can click on that and go on over there and check out what Peru's Challenge is and learn a little bit more about what they do. But essentially our project was to help build a greenhouse, and we worked in a small community up in the mountains called Kiawada. I had to look down because I wanted to make sure that I was pronouncing it right. But that's where we were doing our work. And what Peru's Challenge does is essentially they go into different communities and they talk with the people there to see, you know, if one, they even want their help, because there is a lot of poverty outside of the major city in Peru. And so what they're trying to do is to help these communities to kind of bounce back from that and help them to be, you know, self-sustainable. So what we did was we started work on a greenhouse, and we got about halfway through, which was really good for us to have only been there for, I think we worked on the greenhouse for I think 5 or 6 days. So that's quite a bit of work to get done just for that short amount of time. And essentially what they'll do with the greenhouse is, you know, it's a space for them to be able to grow their crops, grow flowers. They can go out and they can sell these things. It's just a way to kind of generate some income for their community, and it was wonderful. We met this really lovely family. I will put a picture of them right here. And they were such lovely people. It was an amazing experience. I think about it like all the time. It's so fresh in my mind. I actually really, really miss the people who I was on the trip with. Love you guys. But yeah, it was just a wonderful experience getting to do that. I have a bunch of clips of us actually working on, you know, working on our service project. If you're watching part 5 of the video and you didn't watch the first 4 parts, then none of this is like has any context really, so I would advise you guys to go over and watch the first 4 parts so you can see what I was actually doing. But yeah, that was it was a really great experience. After we got done with the community service project, we had some time to be tourists and go out and learn a little bit more about the country itself, explore the city, try some food, just kind of learn about what Peruvians do. So we went to a lot of different places. I'm gonna have to use my little cheat sheet to remember them all. But we went to a place called Saksai Woman, which is, I believe the footage from that part is in part 2 of this video series. But we went there. It means feeding of the condor, and it was basically just an ancient Incan ruin site, and so it was, you know, really historical. We got to go and see some really great sights. It was gorgeous. We also went to visit the main square in Cusco, which is Plaza de Armas, and we it was just kind of this big it has a really Spanish feel to it because it's kind of where it was more colonialized by the Spanish people. But it's a really nice area. They also have in that same area is the San Pedro market, which is kind of like a flea market, and they have like almost everything you can think of in there. That's where I got almost all of my souvenirs that I brought back. I got from that market. They had food stands in there, places you could get like smoothies and stuff like that. It was really nice. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to, you know, eat any of the food or anything because our sensitive digestive systems are we're not well equipped to consume the water in Peru, and of course they use that water when they're cooking the food. So all of that is fine for people who live in Peru and are accustomed to the different things that are in their water. But for us, being from the States, we unfortunately weren't accustomed to that. So if we were to consume, we'd have probably come down with a really bad case of traveler's diarrhea, and that's not fun for anybody. So we didn't get a chance to try any of the food or drinks or anything from kind of the local places, but we did still visit a lot of restaurants and we ate a lot of good food. Okay, so my trip to Peru was in all just a fabulous trip. I had a wonderful time. I got to meet some really great people. We're actually planning to go back in 5 years, so hopefully we'll actually be able to do that so we can kind of have like a reunion of sorts, get to see what's going on with the greenhouse that we built, how the family's doing, and then just catch up with each other because a lot can happen in 5 years. For me personally, a lot of people were like, you're going to Peru and you don't speak any Spanish. Yes, I did go to Peru and I had very basic like working knowledge of Spanish. I mean, like I could say like a few phrases, but I was by no means fluent. I haven't had a Spanish class in I don't know how long. In high school, I took Latin. For the language I took in college, I took French. So none of those languages were helpful to me while I was there. But it wasn't bad at all getting by, you know, with the limited amount of Spanish that I had. It definitely helped that our tour guide was with us for like basically everywhere we went. Shout out to you, fearless leader. But it wasn't too bad for the few places where I was like by myself or just in a group with a few people. I think they might have gotten over on me maybe once as far as, you know, buying some souvenirs, but I don't think it was anything too crazy. It wasn't really bad at all. That is pretty much it for my reflection video. I hope that you all enjoyed my little Adventures in Peru series. I am currently searching for my next place to wind up in this world, so that way I can do another Adventures in blank and then bring you guys with me so you all can see some more places. I would like to give a special thanks to all of the people that donated to my GoFundMe while I was raising money for this trip, because I was not able to afford it on my own, and I would not have been able to go on this trip without you lovely people. So I'm going to put at the end of this video the list of everyone who helped me to get to Peru. Just want to say thank you so much. I love you guys from like the bottom of my heart, because none of this would have been possible without you guys. And that is it. I will also have in the description a link to the playlist. So if you guys haven't seen the first 4 videos of me actually in Peru, you guys can head on over and check those out. Remember, if you guys aren't already, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it where you share cool things. And that is pretty much it. So I will see you guys in the next video. Toodles!